They were real-life hobbits, tiny humans no taller than a 3-year-old child, armed with stone tools and a fierce will to survive. Trapped on a remote island filled with giant birds and deadly dragons, they thrived for tens of thousands of years, completely unknown to the modern world. But who were they? How did they get there? And what mysterious force shrunk them to such an astonishing size? This is the lost story of Homo Floresiensis, the smallest human species ever discovered, and one of the greatest evolutionary enigmas of all time. They were barely 3 feet tall, their brains smaller than a chimpanzee's, their feet flat and oversized. And yet these tiny humans walked tall in a world of monsters. In the shadowy depths of a cave on a remote Indonesian island, scientists stumbled upon a mystery that would rewrite everything we thought we knew about our ancient cousins. This isn't fiction. It's not Tolkien. It's not fantasy. This is the real story of Homo Floresiensis, the so-called hobbits of human history, and their survival in one of the strangest, most dangerous ecosystems Earth has ever known. Discovered in 2003 inside the Liang Bua Cave on Flores Island, the first skeleton, dubbed LB-1, sent shockwaves through the scientific world. It was clearly human, but something was off. The figure was astonishingly small, standing only about 3 feet 6 inches tall. At first, researchers thought it might be a modern human with a growth disorder. But as more fossils were unearthed, eventually totaling at least 15 individuals, it became clear. This was an entirely new species of human. A species that had somehow survived until just 50,000 years ago. Homo Floresiensis was unlike anything scientists had seen before. They had small brains, only about 380 cubic centimeters in volume, roughly 1/3 the size of ours. But the shape of their brains was surprisingly similar to modern humans. They weren't mindless primitives. These little people controlled fire, crafted stone tools, and butchered animals with practiced precision. They lived with purpose, intelligence, and remarkable resilience. But how did they come to be so small? The answer may lie in a phenomenon known as insular dwarfism, a form of evolutionary pressure that occurs on isolated islands where food is scarce and predators are few. On Flores, resources were limited. Over time, body size shrank, a survival strategy to make the most of less. This evolutionary shrinkage didn't just affect the humans. Flores was a prehistoric, lost world, home to giants and dwarves alike. Imagine elephants the size of ponies, Stegodon florensis insularis, or massive rats nearly the size of small dogs. And then there were the predators, enormous storks, like Leptoptilos robustus, which stood over 5 feet tall with wingspans reaching 12 feet. Their bones suggest they hunted on foot, stalking the forests with piercing eyes that might have turned toward our diminutive ancestors. And they weren't alone. Fossils also revealed the presence of giant vultures, likely larger than Homo floresiensis themselves. While primarily scavengers, their modern relatives have been known to hunt opportunistically. A vulnerable juvenile hobbit could easily fall, prey to a bird with a 6-foot wingspan and razor-sharp beak. But nothing compared to the apex predator of Flores then, and now, the Komodo dragon. These massive lizards, growing up to 10 feet long and weighing over 200 pounds, ruled the land. With venom-laced saliva, serrated teeth, and the patience of a born ambush killer, the Komodo dragon was a living dinosaur in all but name. It's no wonder that Homo floresiensis needed intelligence and teamwork to survive. Despite their small size, they adapted to an ecosystem filled with supersized dangers. Their feet, broad, flat, and disproportionately large, suggest they walked with a high-stepping gait, likely slower than modern humans. Their arms were long, their shoulders permanently shrugged forward, and their posture hunched, a unique silhouette shaped by both evolutionary adaptation and environmental necessity. Their teeth told another story. Primitive canines paired with advanced molars. Their bones, especially the skull, showed no signs of modern human ancestry. And their DNA? That remains a mystery. Despite multiple attempts, scientists have been unable to extract usable genetic material from their remains. The humid tropical conditions of Flores make DNA preservation nearly impossible. So for now, we must rely on bones, tools, and context. Two competing theories try to explain their origins. One argues that Homo Floresiensis descended from an early primitive ancestor like Homo habilis or even Australopithecus, suggesting a long-forgotten migration out of Africa. The other claims they came from Homo erectus, a known inhabitant of nearby Java, who reached Flores and gradually shrank in size over generations. The truth? Still unknown. Without DNA, the puzzle remains unsolved. Yet despite the mystery, Homo Floresiensis has left an indelible mark. They challenge our assumptions about intelligence, about size, about what it means to be human. They remind us that evolution isn't linear. It's a winding path of adaptation, chance, and survival. They lived and died in isolation. No art, no writing, no monuments. And yet, their very existence is one of the greatest stories ever uncovered in paleoanthropology. And what's perhaps most astonishing? Until just a few decades ago, no one knew they even existed. Flores Island continues to keep its secrets. Local folklore spoke for centuries of tiny, hairy people called the Abu Gogo, creatures said to steal food and mimic human speech. Most dismissed the stories as myth. But now, with the discovery of Homo Floresiensis, those legends seem less like fantasy and more like fragmented memory, whispers of a time when we weren't the only humans walking the earth. Today, all that remains are bones in a cave, tools scattered in ancient sediment, and unanswered questions echoing through time. How did they arrive? Why did they vanish? Could there be others like them waiting to be found? In the end, the story of Homo Floresiensis isn't just about height. It's about survival, ingenuity, and the vast, astonishing diversity of the human journey. If this tale of ancient mystery and survival amazed you, don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow explorers of deep time, and hit that subscribe button for more captivating stories from Earth's ancient past. Leave a comment with your thoughts. What do you think happened to the Hobbits of Flores? This is Extinct World, where forgotten giants, mysterious cousins, and untold adventures come to life once again. Stay curious.